Okay, with producer Kyle Jacobs, Crisis is the short film. It's 6 minutes long, and I guess Crisis is about water. That's what there's a water crisis, and that's what your 6 minute film is about, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me about because the first image in the film is a stat saying, kind of paraphrasing, but one of the professors saying by 2040, 2000, yeah, 2040, we're going to have some severe water shortage and it's going to affect the entire planet. So it's only 16 years from now.
Yeah.
So, but we're not really thinking about it now as a nation. But you're saying in your film that we got some issues with water.
Yeah, we definitely do. There's already mass water shortages in California and a few different places. I actually based the film off of Day Zero in South Africa. So I had a friend who I met at Columbia who was there for kind of like the water crisis in South Africa. This is like the first major country in the world that was running out of water. So they
Yeah.
had a countdown to when they had a countdown for the day they were going to run out of water. And they kind of just explained to me how at first, like nobody really took it seriously. Everybody was just misusing it, and the government and law enforcement were like enforcing the strict water restrictions. So, after a while, when people started to, kind of change their behavior when it came to the water consumption, and they kind of all came together, then they ended up pushing Day Zero back as things got more progressive, and eventually Day Zero didn't come. So, I thought it was an interesting concept, but I kind of wanted to see what it would look like in NYC, because NYC has some of the most advanced, public water systems on the planet. So I thought it was an interesting concept, and yeah, that's kind of where it started.
So you NYC, just to make sure that everybody, it's New York City. So I'm sure 90% of people know that. I just wanted to make sure that. So okay, so you film.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
So this was done at Columbia University, correct?
Yes, Columbia University. Yeah.
So the director, the writer, so Patrick is the director, Leah was the writer, you're the producer. You guys were all going to school at the time.
Yeah. So what happened was, I'm in the sustainability. I was in the sustainability master management program at Columbia, and I was in class, and like I was trying to ask, like people were trying to give a solid definition for what sustainability was, but nobody couldn't quite come up with it. And also too, everybody that was around me, always asked what I do in school, and I tried to explain to them what it was, but I noticed that everybody looked at sustainability just from like an environmental perspective. So there was a group chat, and I reached out to. There was a group chat, and somebody recommended that I reach out to a girl named Leah. So I reached out to Leah. I had to pitch it, a few times, but she got the concept. She loved it, and she needed a project to work on, and she was willing to help me out. So I took it to her, and then she introduced me to Patrick. So I got on the Zoom call with Patrick, pitched it to him. He loved the concept, and then we started building the team from there. And remind me, we only had maybe like a month and a half to kind of get everything together because it was edging towards the end of the semester.
And then this was this for like a school, like was this like for school credit or like what was the big picture here?
No, it wasn't for school credit at all. I kind of just, I film to me was always like a getaway. When I was a kid, I used to go to a $2 movie theater in Graham, North Carolina. And I had a really, really hectic life growing up. But for the 2 hours that I was watching the movie, I felt like I was in another universe. So I always wanted the opportunity to create the film, but I never really had a chance. And when I saw that message in the group chat, I was like, oh man, I think I should take advantage of this. But I came out of pocket 100% for the film itself. And it was just pretty interesting. But I just saw the opportunity and just decided to take it.
And then so basically you no filmmaking experience before this film.
No, none at all. I actually had to stay up. Maybe I stayed up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for maybe 3 weeks straight. Before I went to Leah to be like, okay, I want to go to her and have a little bit of knowledge under my belt. And she kind of showed me the ropes, kind of how to write and develop a script itself and do different things. And we worked together on developing the script and, kind of storyboarding and try to figure out how we should execute it. But she taught me a lot in the month that we kind of worked on it too. And ever since then, I've been kind of studying it by myself as well, but no film experience before this.
So do you are you is you got the bug? Do you want to make other more films in the future?
Yeah, so I think the need for this type of material is really important as film. And because people look at sustainability as just an environmental issue and they don't look at it as a social issue. So and there's not too many sustainability focused programs in the country and it's starting to arise. And I know you're familiar with the United Nations 17 sustainability development goals.
Mhm.
So um I'm actually developing a series. So I'm gonna develop this into a series. So I wrote about 3 or 4 episodes already, and I actually plan on producing and kind of shooting it myself. But I'm gonna do a series that's based on the 17 sustainability goal. And each of the film is going to have a couple of different elements that are based on the goals itself.
So what year are we in this film? What year are we supposed to be in?
So this year, I believe is 2040, 2040. And this is kind of like just at the break of when the water issues are going to kind of start to be noticed in major cities and major populations.
And but also he goes to the grocery store and toilet paper is $160.
Right, crazy. Price of inflation. Water is the backbone of life, and I think people take for granted about and how many products and different things it's kind of related to. I actually wanted to shoot a scene where he kind of goes through a mall or different things, but the location that we tried to shoot at, which is like an Amazon Go store, we couldn't shoot this. We had to shoot at a place called Apple, near Columbia. But yeah, I think people don't understand how if the price of water goes up, toilet paper goes up, basic commodities, clothes, and different things, and I kind of just wanted to show people like this is what could happen. I think it has some good shock value though.
Yeah, well, it's definitely. I think the way the setting of that grocery store is perfect for this kind of future film because it's sort of like like we're backwards, I guess, like from a from a simple kind of point of view is that we're 16 years ahead in the future, but we're backwards as a nation, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think and I'm glad you said it. I think I love the simplicity of the film itself. I didn't want to be too preachy about sustainability or try to go too deep into the sciences. I kind of wanted to find something where people could relate to, but this is an actual reality if we don't learn how to become more conscious about how we conserve, or how about how we use our resources, right? And typically when we think of water shortages and different things, we think of maybe developing countries, but there's a lot of water issues here in America itself.
Yeah, like, well, you just said California, right? Like one of it's the richest state in the 50 states, and like, how does this state have a water shortage? The ocean's right next door, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy. And then another thing, I kind of wanted to add an element, water desalinization, and I probably mispronounced that, but it definitely is an option, but it's super expensive. So even if we were able to do it, the price of water would be so ridiculous that it would lead back to the issue of not being able to afford basic resources and everything else will still go up. So um, but yeah, hopefully too. I think the episode is really good, but I think in the series, I kind of want to develop maybe each episode to an hour. I think that if I can go back and get the funding to develop it myself, I think that's something I might want to go more into.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are alternative ways that we could possibly get conserve and get more water, but that should be interesting.
Well, the main character in your film, like just a good like he made him like the best guy in the world, right? Like he's a teacher. He cares about humanity at the scene with the homeless guy and like sharing his valuable water to him. He's a good father. He's just a good person in general, right? Where he's a good educator. Like he wants what's best for the world, but but the world is not really doing that well at the time. So it's a really interesting kind of future showing from his point of view, I guess, right? From this very good man.
Yeah. I think that was I kind of want I know people would I know a lot of people could relate to um struggle, but also, relates to his love and care for his daughter herself. When I think about my little sister, or I think about anybody that I'm close to in my life, I think like if this shortage was to happen, like how would I take care of them or how would things happen? So I think I wanted to create something that people could relate to. But yeah, he's a really good guy. He's willing to, sacrifice going to jail in order to make his daughter happy. And I think that's a reflection of some of the decisions that people will have to make if we do come to these times. So yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah, sacrifice your yourself for the future, for the people behind you, right?
Exactly.
Because that's the thing. Like that's one of the little small little themes in your film where like his daughter is facing the repercussions of the mess that the generations ahead of her made, right? Like it's not her fault that everybody was so dumb and irresponsible, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And this is, and if you think about it, this is her first realization that the world is a really messed up place. And if I was able to continue the film, it would kind of show, how she will react after the situation. But yeah, I mean, her father got taken away from her for a very like simple reason. And he had to decide between getting her a birthday cake and making sure she had enough water. But yeah, it opens her eyes early on to how messed up the world can be. And I think that's something I really wanted to articulate. I think it did a good job. Isis is the name of the actor who played Alien. She was amazing. I'm talking about amazing. Did a really, really good job.
And Orlando, is it Orlander? That's the lead
Yeah,
actor.
yeah, Orlando lead actor, really good. Oh, so actually, Orlando is actually an acting coach, and she's in his class. So we were recruiting or scouting for different actors. I think the chemistry that they had was already there, so it just made the whole shooting process just really easy and really seamless.
That leads to my next question. Where did you find him? I guess you found him through her.
Right. So yeah, I found him through her. So my producer, co-producer Leah and writer, she had worked with O before for a previous film. And we went to go see him during the stage play. And I met up with him, talked to him, and just wanted to see if he could really relate to the story and if he could really, go to, pull the emotions out that I kind of needed him to, which are really good. But yeah, I saw him, and then I saw Isis, and I saw how they interacted with each other. I saw the chemistry, and they both could relate to some of these issues, man. So when I saw him, I said I have to have you on the project, man. So I'm really appreciative that they decided to, trust in my vision to come on board.
Yeah, 100%. And so what was the relationship with the director? Because you said it was your vision, but did you have any like did you just let him give him free reign and making the film and
I
setting
mean,
everything?
yeah, Patrick is a genius, man. So I just basically had to show him like just he just saw the script itself, and me and him had a conversation about kind of how I wanted it to look, and I just kind of let him get free will to shoot it how he wanted to shoot it. So towards the end when the candle blew out, I think that's the only scene that I kind of had some input in. But Leah is actually the one who decided to go with the candle blown out at the end. And then, but everything else was, basically Patrick, and he did a lot of teaching me, so I kind of shadowed him throughout the project itself. But he taught me about different shots and different angles, and the best way to kind of shoot the film. And one of the things that he mentioned was kind of making the water bottle itself a character in the film.
Yeah.
So Patrick is a real genius, and I really hope that I can. Actually, he agreed to come back on board to shoot another episode of the series, so I can't wait to work with him again.
Well, I was going to ask you if if you wanted to direct the film series yourself.
Yeah, so I'm all about getting the best talent. So my main goal is to create and produce the best product that I can, and I do want to step more into the directing role and do want to write more. So I will, but I'm going to get access to the best talent that I can to produce the series because the topic is so serious. And I will step into directing a few episodes pretty soon. Maybe towards the end of the series, but yeah, if I can, I will. So yeah, that's the plan.
So when's episode 2 coming out?
So, I've had a few meetings with a few investors, and hopefully, I can push episode 2 out by the end of the summer, and then have it edited by the end of the summer as well too.
So the script is written already?
Script is written already, ready to go. I think I might need to make a few touches on it, and I think some of the locations that I want to get might be a little difficult, but if I can produce it correct, then I can produce it the right way, and I can access my network and leverage it. I think the film is going to turn out great. I think I have a lot more time to work on this one as well. And the team, we built chemistry together too. So I think coming into this project might be a little bit better because we have more time to prepare and we're building chemistry. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So what are you doing in the meantime? Are you still at school or?
Yeah, so I graduated from Columbia and now I'm at Harvard. So I actually graduated Harvard in May. So I'm going to spend the summertime developing and working on my film projects, and then I guess now I got to find a full time job. So
Well, you're an Ivy Leaguer, right? So they should be coming to you, shouldn't they?
yeah, man, the job market is rough right now. Honestly, too, making this film is probably the happiest I've ever been in life. I enjoy every second of it, from waking up super early at 4 a.m. To helping everybody leave set that day at maybe 12 o'clock. So I think this is one of the only things that I'm super passionate about, that I love every second of it. So I think I'm gonna try to pursue my dreams in this. I kind of want to. I don't mind like taking stuff to a network and doing different things, but I really want to learn this craft. So I think I'm gonna try to work on a few independent projects. But man, this is my passion. I think I'm a little late in finding it at 27, but life is really unpredictable, and you never know
Yeah,
what.
it's not that late. It's a good age.
I guess that's right. Hey, listen, that's good. That made me feel better.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's the perfect age because you have perspective now, right? Like you're and you still have like obviously lots to think about. Like, but you seem to be at a level of maturity that it's all about mature storytelling, right? So and you have obviously an educational background to be the person you are today. So I think it's the perfect age.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate it. It makes me feel better.
So, but at the same time, what are you majoring in? What's your major?
Right. So at Columbia, I did well. Undergrad, I did agriculture. Actually, I did
Okay.
agriculture and business economics, and then at Columbia, I did sustainability, and then at Harvard, I'm doing learning design and technology.
So you're at Harvard right now.
Yeah.
How do you like? How is that school?
Harvard is very interesting, man. I've never been around. Well, I mean, at Columbia, there were a lot of bright minds, but Harvard is definitely the typical Ivy League, but it has a lot of good resources. The people are amazing. I'm meeting people from all over the world who can offer me different perspectives, and I can kind of show them some things about our culture here. But it's just amazing, man. I love spending time on campus. I love connecting with people, and I spend a lot of time at the Harvard Innovation Lab, just meeting different people as well. So Harvard is great. I like Columbia. Columbia, when you go to Columbia, it's more so like you go to Columbia, but you're really going there to be in New York itself.
Yeah.
So it's a different environment, but both schools are really great. And but I really did enjoy my time at Columbia with making this film and kind of connecting with people there. So both schools are amazing.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up a couple of different places. So I was born in Richmond, Virginia, and then I ended up moving to North Carolina with my mother. And then things got a little crazy between me and her, so I moved with my father, and he got really abusive. So I was in a foster care system in Philadelphia for a while. But I lived with him, got into the foster care system, and then at first I was a ward of the state, but then I got switched over to being an adjudicated delinquent, and I spent maybe I think I maybe spent like almost a year into a juvenile facility called Georgia Republic, and they put me in like a 23-1 lockdown unit for about 6 months. Um, and before I went into the unit, my reading level was just super low, and I didn't care about school. But while I was in there was a guard and an officer who started bringing me like books, and then that's when my imagination just started to fly, and that's when I started to become creative. So it started off with magazines, and he ended up bringing me like a book every day. So I started reading a book every day, and then it went from me reading 2 to 3 books a day. And by the time I got out of there, I tested on the collegiate level. So that's part of where my curiosity came from, and kind of where my creative side came from. So that was an interesting experience. And then after that, I ended up going back to Richmond to live with my grandmother, and I went to Virginia State from there. And then I got a full ride to go to Columbia, and then they gave me a really really generous scholarship at Harvard. So that's how I ended up here. So it's been a journey.
Well, obviously you have a mind that like you're gifted. I one would assume, right, that you have a gifted mind. When did you know that you had this you had
Mm,
a different mind? Like you said, you're reading 2, 3 books a day.
yeah.
Like people can that's not an average person reads a book like can probably read a book in a week, not 2, 3 in a day.
Yeah, I think it was I wouldn't even say gifted. I just say I think uh, everybody has a way out of becoming successful, and everybody has a skill and a talent. And my way was just figuring out problems, and I think reading really opened my imagination. And so I was put in an environment where I had to be forced to learn, and then it became going from being forced to kind of enjoying it, and then finding out what I was passionate about. So that was it. That was just my ticket out for everything. I discovered that probably around the time that I was in a juvenile facility. So this is around maybe when I was around maybe 12 or 13ish. So that's around the time I started to notice. Well, people around me started to notice certain things, and yeah. So I guess that's why.
So yeah, it's then so like because you got a free ride to Columbia, so that means that your SAT scores must have been pretty high, one would assume.
Yeah, so I went to Virginia State for undergraduate. For the graduate test, I actually didn't take the GRE for the graduate test. I think while I was an undergraduate, my the things that I did, like my resume and different things like that, were kind of outstanding. I won over $50,000 in business pitch competition money because I didn't get a scholarship, so I had to find a way to kind of get through. And then I studied abroad at Rio de Janeiro. I did a lot of artificial intelligence and data science research. So, I sacrificed a lot of my social time at Virginia State University to focus on developing myself. And then during COVID was actually an interesting time where the world kind of slowed down. I had 4 laptops. I had 2 of my own, and I borrowed 2 from friends, and I would be in business pitch competitions. I would be in 3 or 4 different business pitch competitions, going to class on one computer, and then on my phone, I was applying for scholarships. So that's kind of what I did throughout the pandemic itself. But I think I did so much over that time that It was good. It was optional for me to submit the GRE, but I felt like I didn't need to, and it kind of benefited me and help my application stand out in a way. So yeah.
So maybe you should be getting into like the medical profession and or like in science and because the mind that you have.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, I think the world needs more creative people. I like being around engineers, innovators, and different people in academia, but I can understand the academic papers and different things like that. But I think there needs to be somebody in between who could translate that to the general public, especially when it comes to issues like critical issues in artificial intelligence and the sustainability focused stuff. So I love creative people. I like being around creative people. I love being around artists. I feel the most comfortable. And I feel the most uncomfortable in certain academic settings, to be honest. So, nah, being a creative is to me, man. I don't care what I have to do so. I don't mind going back to. I don't mind being broken, just being able to create, man. That's what my art is. So I'd rather do that than anything else.
Well, that's amazing. And I can't wait to see more of this project. Make sure you keep in touch because I want to see the next projects. And you can tell that you're going to get it done, right? Like you just have that kind of that vision, but you're a multitasker. I think that's your genius, right? You're able to have a few balls in the air at the same time, which you can concentrate on a few things at the same time. I think that's I'm sure you've been told
Yeah,
that the average person can't do that, right?
yeah.
So
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think if I'm not focusing on more than one project at a time, it kind of slows me down. I don't know why that is, but it's good for me. So yeah, I mean, I love the journey, man. I love everything about film, man. And I don't think you understand how this kind of changed my life. Kind of winning best short film at this film festival because sometimes you need that validation to understand that you're kind of on the right path for real. So I know I have good ideas. I know I can execute them,
yeah.
and now this validates me and allows me to kind of take things to the next level, man. So I'm super appreciative.
What's the Spider-Man line? It's probably like you're like, what? But it's like great power makes great responsibility. So you have great power, you can tell. And so now you have a lot of responsibility to do something with the power that you have. So you storytelling is the way to go, then that I 100% I wouldn't be doing this for a living if I didn't agree with you. So I believe that as well. So that's kind of amazing that you're gonna venture out there. So and water is the issue, and a narrative story the emotional journey is it gets people thinking about things, right? So
That is true. And yeah, honestly, too, my big hope, because I love film, I love me, but I think the main thing that I want to focus on too, and eventually kind of branch off into is the video game space. Um,
video games?
yeah, oh man, I have some amazing, amazing, amazing ideas for the video game world. Because have you ever heard of a game called Days Gone?
No.
Oh, it's about a zombie apocalypse game. I love that game, but if I can, I think long term, I want to focus on creating design stories for video games, and that's a big, big, big market. So I know it's hard to kind of break into that space, especially making a game on like a large scale like that. But if I can eventually branch off into that, I think film is great for narrative story, like, but being able to bring the idea and vision to life and actually show people like this is what's possible and this is what can happen if you don't. I think that's the long term goal.
That's amazing. All right, let's keep in touch, and I want to see your next film, and maybe we'll have a conversation when your next film is done.
Of course, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate you. Nice to meet you.